All hell broke loose. Senator Rand Paul tweeted out a clip from the interview saying Fauci admits that masks don't work for the public at large, but still absurdly claims masks work on an individual basis, more subterfuge. Immediately after, a variety of outlets all piled on, lending their assessment in their headline writing. The New York Post roasted Fauci by saying that he was a fraud and a liar after being confronted with damning studies on masks. Newsweek said Fauci COVID mask admission sparks furious backlash. The Independent, Dr. Fauci refutes study claiming that masks don't work as COVID concerns rise. The Daily Mail getting in on the action, more subterfuge from Fauci, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Fox News and Newsmax then joined in.
Some do not want to let go of the panic surrounding COVID-19, including the mad scientist himself, who was on CNN over the weekend and really pushing back against so much science.
Just like the seasonal flu, Scarf Lady and Tony the Terrible are back and circulating on air.
This exchange that Anthony Fauci had with Michael Smerconish on CNN, literally, I couldn't believe it. I say sometimes on CNN, I'm glad they brought it up, but the way that they let him get away with this.
Follow the science or follow this loser? Dr. Fauci getting confronted with a damning study on masks.
There is a perception out there by many, how many I don't know, that they don't work.
Was Smerconish actually also wearing a mask?
The flames were still being fanned Thursday by Post columnist Miranda Devine, who wrote, "Masks don't work against COVID-19. Dr. Fauci should use one to gag himself." The Cochrane reports physical interventions to interrupt or reduce the spread of respiratory viruses was published earlier this year. An aggregate analysis of scientific studies on the efficacy of masks. Dr. Lena Wen in the Washington Post has called Cochrane a highly reputable source. Its systemic reviews are considered the gold standard of medical analysis. So I thought I would go to the source, the first author of the Cochrane study, and hear his side of the controversy. Dr. Tom Jefferson joins me now. He's an epidemiologist and senior associate tutor at the University of Oxford. Okay, doctor, thank you for being here. Some quick context. The 2023 publication is actually the fifth update. You would refer to yourself, I think, as the first author. Cochrane is peer-reviewed, and this is an assessment of research by others, meaning, in this case, 78 randomized controlled trials, not original research. All true?
I have to correct you, Michael. 2020 was the fourth update. The 2023 is the fifth update.
Okay.
Also, you're right. There are 78 trials, but those are not only about masks, and they're not all on COVID. In fact, there's only two on COVID, or third mentioned.
Okay, I'm trying to just set the stage so that I can ask you the key question. Do masks work, in your opinion, in stopping the spread of COVID?
Well, we have got, as I said, we've got three SARS-CoV-2, three trials on SARS-CoV-2, and none of them show an effect. It is impossible to show that something doesn't work in this case. And science adopts a probabilistic approach, so it's a chance approach. Is it more likely than not? At the moment, there is no evidence that that is the case, that they work. And which mask against which pathogen? There's hundreds of pathogens. So that's a situation. Now, earlier on, you quoted some of our assessment of some of the trials. And yes, some of the trials are poor quality. Because they are very, very difficult studies to carry on, to carry out. Logistically, they're very difficult. And sometimes it's very difficult to get people to comply with wearing a mask or washing hands or any of the other interventions we're looking at. So these are the limits of what we've done.
So I'm hoping to bring clarity to viewers because it's very hard to follow as lay people. It sounds to me, Dr. Jefferson, as you are saying, we don't know. And by the way, when I look at the author's conclusion, and I'll put this on the screen, the author's conclusion from the most recent of these flat out says there is uncertainty about the effects of face masks. I don't want people to think that you're here saying they don't work. It sounds to me like you're here saying,
No.
I can't tell you if they do or they don't work, but please speak for yourself.
You're correct. I can't tell you whether they work or don't work, but it's more likely than not that they don't work. Okay? Based on, but this is not just against SARS-CoV-2, the COVID pathogens. We're looking at interventions over 78 trials over 50 years. The whole review is over 500,000 participants in these trials. Now, the underlying problem that you've got there is that people are drunk with certainty. They're told that something works. End of the story. That's not science. What science is about is likely or unlikely to work, or we can't find any evidence of it. So,
but when you say, but Dr. Jefferson, when you opine that in your opinion it's more likely than not that they don't work, that then puts you at odds, and herein lies the confusion, with the editor-in-chief. Put this on the screen. Karla Soares-Weiser, the editor-in-chief of the Cochrane Library, says, quote, many commentators have claimed that a recently updated Cochrane review shows that masks don't work, which is an inaccurate and misleading interpretation. It would be accurate to say that the review examined whether interventions to promote mask wearing helped to slow the spread of respiratory viruses and that the results were inconclusive. Do you disagree with her statement?
Dr. Soares-Weiser appears to be apologizing for the misconceptions and the misquotes of third parties, which is extraordinary. If I had a pound or a dollar for every time I've been misquoted, I'd be in the Bahamas. I wouldn't be here speaking to you, sunning myself in my huge villa. Being misquoted and misunderstood, unfortunately, and being also in a political forum like this, which is not my natural habitat, I don't. This has become political. You see, the first three iterations of the review went completely unremarked. Apart from the 2020 update, or the 2023 update, they started getting attention simply because masks had become political. So this is a political milieu. And I can only tell you what the science is, the reliable science shows, with all its limits, what I just told you.
It puts the public.
I can't make up stuff.
Okay, and I understand that. I guess I would just say this. It puts those members of the public, I include myself, in a very awkward spot, because on one hand, someone is going to hear this conversation and say, I heard the first author of the Cochrane study say that in his opinion, it's more likely than not that they don't work. And then somebody else is going to say, well, yeah, but wait a minute, the editor-in-chief of that very same publication and library has a totally different interpretation. And then the left and right will seize upon which element suits their political interest. You get the final word, but it's got to be just 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay, it's a political milieu. It's a political football. It's got nothing to do with science, isn't it? You just described it. The Cochrane hierarchy has done other things that we will make public on our Substack Trust the Evidence, and systematically undermined both the 2020 and the 2023 work, all 12 of us. So that's my final work. Now, if your viewers are so interested in finding an answer, they should put pressure on those in power to conduct good quality trials, good quality studies, to find an answer and to decrease the uncertainty that I've just described.